Hi, you don't know who I am? If you do, congratulations. I'm just gonna lay back down for this. I had a stressful day. A lot of what we see on social media is just a highlight reel, right? Maybe, just maybe, we can use this whole concept of a highlight reel in a really positive way. I fully and truly believe in quantum entanglement, and there is a shit ton of peer-reviewed studies that showcase the effects of not just how quantum entanglement theory affects us on a daily basis, but how you can affect quantum entanglement to construct your life. Sometimes the trauma that we experience outside of our control, no matter how we choose to react to it, still continues to live in us physiologically and sometimes behaviorally, a lot of the times behaviorally. And the behavioral part doesn't stop with your actual behavior. It also continues onwards invisibly in your mind. You let it. Neuroscience will show you that your brain can't actually tell the difference between a real experience and an imagined one, especially if you mull over the imagined experience over and over and over again, constantly calculating the negative ways in which any sort of step you take can go. The good news is that you can break the cycle. Yes, you can break the cycle by showing yourself the positive evidence. How does it start? Just like your brain can believe in a negative imagined experience, it can believe in a positive imagined experience. However, it's going to work even better if you can put yourself in the center of a situation where you are forced to see yourself thrive. Extensive research from psychology and behavioral science will show that the cost of a negative experience, emotionally and cognitively, way more taxing than a positive one. Kahneman and Tversky have proven that in a situation where a person experiences a lottery win versus in a situation where a person experiences a lottery loss, the emotional intensity of a loss is perceived way more than the emotional intensity of a win. So what can you do with this information today to make sure that your life experience gets objectively and measurably better? And what does social media have to do with it? If you can purposefully overwhelm your brain with images of positive experiences happening to you, that will have an even bigger effect and impact on how fast your brain can shift from a state of survival into a state of potential thrival. But it will take a little bit of work. So take your pictures and take your videos and make these highlight reel. In the times where you're most dissatisfied with your life, look at the things that make you happy. Look at the pictures of you smiling. Look at the pictures of the highlight of your days when you remember that life isn't all bad. You have to constantly, restlessly feed yourself evidence that good things can, did, and will happen to you because you have observed it happen to yourself or other people. Okay, so now that we ran through a bunch of evidence, what is it that you actually can take away from this video and implement into your life? And what is this method that I'm hinting at this whole video? 1. Sometimes bad things happen to people, and if they happen often enough, or the person simply didn't have enough exposure to good things happening to them, they will develop a reaction called learned helplessness, which means that over time, after a series of unfortunate events, a person develops a really strong belief that no matter what they do, the outcome is going to be negative. And so they simply stop taking any sort of steps towards a meaningful change because they actually believe the change to be completely meaningless. 2. No matter how many adverse events happen to you, you can actually reverse the effects of learned helplessness by introducing evidence of positive things happening to you. Even if that evidence is fake, you can convince your brain and fake it till you make it that good things happen to you. It needs to be a really strong belief. And so to develop it, 3. By integrating evidence from peer-reviewed studies in behavioral science, psychology, and even quantum mechanics, as well as physiological sciences, you can see that there are measurable effects that you can witness by consistently introducing a certain scenario that you actively want to choose for yourself and focusing on that scenario alone whilst disregarding the rest of the evidence. Is it delusional? It is just as delusional as believing that only negative things can happen to you because that's what you experienced in the past. 4. You can flip the toxicity of social media upside down and use the concept of highlight reels to actually showcase and elevate the positive experience that you had in your life forwards and show your brain that yes, whilst bad things can happen, good things can happen also. And by watching videos of yourself over and over and over experiencing positive things, good things happening to you, you are teaching your brain to witness that evidence and seek out that evidence as familiar, just as you would seek out negative evidence and convince yourself that you should not aspire to have a better life experience just because you haven't had that already. To recap, there is nothing wrong with your social media being a highlight reel of your successes. There is nothing wrong with taking pictures, videos of you smiling, of documenting things that make you happy and putting them out there. Don't use your Instagram as just something that you put out there for other people, but you can use it as a photo album of memorable events that you actually want to focus on and that you want to feed to your brain in order to train your brain to focus on the things that you want for your life to be made up of. It can be made up of negative experiences, sure, because these things happen, but good things happen too. And wouldn't you rather believe that you deserve good things happening to you than negative ones? It costs nothing outside of the cognitively taxing strain that it puts on your brain to try and reverse all of the years of neural pathways developing, telling yourself that you should just not, that you should just give up hope and eat up whatever you're being fed. You can actually select the sources of your nutrition and make that nutrition meaningful.